What's up, guys? It's Nobay from MSR Studios here, and today we're going to do our first installment of making my first HO scale layout. Now, the first part of this is to lay down the track. I already have the track set up and everything, well, not on the table, but I already have it all ready to go. But before I do that, I'm actually going to paint the board brown first, because that's going to make it easier for me to do scenery later on. Alright, now that we have all of our paint down on our layout, of course it doesn't look really good because as you can see, there's a lot of lines of that the board is still showing through. However, we're going to cover this down all in ground foam later on, so it's not really going to show. Right now, we got to let the paint dry a little bit, which should only take like 10-15 minutes, and then we can start laying down our track. Okay, now we have all of our track laid down and we have everything situated. Now we got to work on wiring our track. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now the way that we're going to wire our track is using some track terminal wires, as you can see here. And I want to place some in between this piece of flex track, which, by the way, the track I'm using is Atlas Code 83, Code 100, and this flexi track is Pico. So as I said, we're going to be using these track wires, and I'm going to put them right here. And the problem is we need to drill a hole right there in between the flex track and the curve track. So we're actually going to put a hole right there. As you can see, I marked it with a silver Sharpie because I don't have anywhere else to put it. And also silver is, yeah, it's a lot more noticeable. So I'm going to put another one right there, another one right here, and another one right here. And now we have it all marked and everything, and I'm going to go get the drill now and drill in the holes. Okay, now that we're ready to drill, I got my drill all ready. And I marked the holes. Make sure you do that. Remember, wear protective gear like gloves and also some protective glasses because you want to be extra careful when you do this step. And I recommend that if you are underage and you want to do this, make sure you get an adult to do this because they know how to do it better. So get in here and okay, there's one, and let's get the other. And those are the first two. I'm going to drill the other twos later. But before we do that, I want to test something. I'm going to test putting in the wires into the hole. And make sure you use a drill bit that is slightly larger than your wire. Because slip that on in there. So overall, it's working quite nicely, actually. And all right, that's the first one. And I'm gonna go get the other ones up and ready. Oh, that's strange. It didn't go all the way through. That sucks. So the drill actually didn't go all the way into the board. It just went just barely. So there's not actually a hole in there. Let me redo this again. All right. And again, it's doing the same thing. Why? I see. So. Hopefully it works this time. It should. And there we go. I'm gonna put the wires in there and have the rail joiners on the other end. And make sure if you're using these particular wires, I'm using the Atlas ones, then make sure the wires are going to the outside of the track. So yeah, okay, that one. And connect these ones here. And then connect the track. There you go. As you can see, everything looks good so far. All right, there you go. And now our track is wired up mostly. And I'm actually going to show you later on how to wire this to basically any controller. And off camera, I'm going to do these two and then wire them up and do the same thing here. So, see you guys in a little bit. Now, our next step into making the model railroad is actually nailing down the track. You could glue it, but I think it's easier and better to just nail down the track. So, on almost every single piece of track, I had to actually make my own in the Pico track. This track, by the way. So, you just get a nail, put it in there, get a hammer, and just tap it down into all the holes on the track. You don't have to put a hole in every single, you don't have to put a nail in every single hole, sorry. Because most of the track has at least 2 or even 3 holes. I recommend doing like 2 holes each. But sometimes you want to put more nails in each track so it's more stable. So I'm actually going to do that around the track, and I'll put a quick time lapse into there as well. So yeah. Okay, so originally I was going to show a time lapse of me nailing down all the pieces of track, but then I realized how long that took. It literally took me an hour almost an hour to lay down every single piece of track. So I'm not going to show the time lapse for that. However, I am going to show you me wiring the track. So the controllers that I am using are just standard Bachmann ones, just regular old Bachmann ones, the ones that use these wires. Obviously, we can't plug them into here because we don't have any Bachmann terminal rerailer section. But I'm going to show you how to simply rewire track without using a soldering iron. So let me get the controllers real quick. So the first thing you're going to do is you need a wire stripper, one of these. And this tape basically takes the rubber off of the ends of the wires and basically makes them exposed. And you want the correct size one. I'm not really good at this step, so this might take a while. Yeah, I'm not really good at this. It's working though. All right, sort of got it. Well, I almost had it. Come on. All right, now that we have the wire exposed here, that took way too much time. You want to do the same thing to the Bachmann terminal sections. We don't actually need these, so you could just cut them off like this. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to get the wires here. Hopefully I can do this a lot better than... Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, did it. So as you can see, I did take off a bit of wire with it though, so I'm going to cut the excess wires off. Yeah, I need more wire than that. Okay, so we have that much wire. And you basically put these two together and you twist them really tightly. Like so. And now it's like almost one wire. Now what I like to do is I like to get a little bit of electrical tape and wrap it all around the wires. That way they won't come apart as easy. So... Okay, and just... Come on. Something like that. And now that the wires are together, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And then I'm going to test out to see if the track will work or not. So... There you go. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side of the Bachmann terminal. There we go. And put them together and twist. And then I'll get some electrical tape. All right. And now I'm going to plug this into my Bachmann controller And I'm going to test out real quick, see if it's going to work or not. And if it doesn't work, it's probably because the wires aren't twisted together properly. So I'm going to get my Bachmann steam engine here. Beautiful model. Here you see, beautiful model. And probably should get the tender out as well. Now, here's the moment of truth. Will it work? Oh, yes, it does. And yes, it does work. Quite well, in fact. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it is working extremely well. Look at that. It's smooth. This is working way better than I thought it would. Alright, so I'm going to, off camera, do the other side, and I'm going to show a little bit of those trains running around the layout. So, yeah. Alright, now that we have all the engines and all the wires hooked up to the controllers, now it's time to finally run some trains. So the first one we got here is my Bachmann Prairie. It's been modified slightly. It has a front coupler onto there, swap tender, and a body shell. But it's pretty much the stock standard one that we all know and sort of love. Anyways, let's get started. Yeah, it sounds like it's pulling a small freight train with a gondola car and a tanker. And over here we have my very old Anthern diesel pulling a couple box cars. So let's get that on its way. Oh, come on. There we go. This thing does not like to run. Seriously, it's so old. I need to replace the motor in it soon. And there's the trains running together. I hope I can get them in sort of one shot. So yeah, all the track is running very nicely, and I'm surprised it actually worked this well. This is my first time actually making a proper layout for trains, and so far I think it's actually going quite well. And as you can see, those are my wires down there. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I also love the way that the sun shines onto the Bachmann Prairie. That's pretty cool. Oh, that noise. I need to fix that. Alright, so yeah, that's basically it for now. So yeah, the Bachmann Prairie and the Anthern diesel are running okay, as they would on this layout. And everything's actually looking very nice. Everything's wired up nicely. Now it's just time to add some scenery into it. You know what? I'm going to stop that. I am sorry, but I cannot deal with that noise. I need to replace that motor immediately. So yeah, so everything's wired up, but we just need to add a little bit more stuff. So we're going to add mountains on the left side over there, and we're going to also do some scenery as well. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, that's Nobody from MSR Studios signing out.